welcome to this week's edition of Cats Whiskers TV. Now, unfortunately, Jono can't be with us tonight because he actually broken down and is still in Scotland. So you have me as a presenter this week. I do apologise. But what a weekend of hockey it was. Bit of controversy, some fantastic performances by teams that we might not have thought had it in them. And, well, a mixed bag for the Panthers. But coming up on this week's show, we'll obviously review the weekend from the Panthers' point of view. We'll also have players' meet and greet interviews from last Wednesday. We'll also look at Robert Lachowicz's new haircut, shall we say. And obviously we'll review all of the other games of the Elite League this weekend. But first of all, let's have a bit of a recap about the Panthers' weekend.
It's the opening night of a 3-game weekend in Scotland for the Panthers. Tonight we are here at Dundee for the Ice Arena. Both teams with great momentum coming into this game. Dundee winning twice last week, away at Braehead and at home to Coventry. Panthers, of course, with a great win at home to Hull and an even better win away to Sheffield. Somebody's going to have a very bad Friday the 13th. I'm with Antoine Marie-Jeanne of Panthers Hockey Live. 5-2 victory for Dundee, and I think Rick Flace just walked past, and I think that was a well-deserved victory as well for them.
Massively. I mean, they're quick, skillful going forward, but I mean, to me, the way they defended Bacala tonight, the way they defended their own zone, incredible. I mean, you think about how many clear-cut opportunities we really have. I know we hit the pipes a couple of times in the first period. And we came out in the third period much better, but too little too late, and then we're conceding straight after the goals.
And I don't think it was any lack of effort on the Panthers' part. I think it was just simply the best team won, and they were really good, very well organised. They're going to be a threat this season because that's now 3 wins out of 3. All games they will probably have been expected to lose as well.
I mean, certainly at home, I think they're going to be a massive. I'd like to see what we're like at home. I'd like to think we're going to be better, but a full credit to him. By far and away the better team tonight, and you know they're getting a deserved round of applause from the Panthers fans that are remaining here to see them off. So.
Yeah. Well, so it's onward to tomorrow and Fife, which is going to be another difficult trip in that rink. Got to get a win there. That's
going to be a fun reception for us, isn't it? Yeah. It's like, especially after the way the playoffs finished last year. But I'm hoping that we bounce back from this. We've got to. I mean, like I say, we didn't play badly. Stars were just by far and away the better team. Yeah. So I was like,
and you know, I think looking at the Stars. Nobody who really stood out when you saw them, saw the names coming through in pre-season, but that's a team that's together. They carry on like this. They're going to cause some bloody noses in the Elite League this season.
I mean, obviously, I said on the coverage, I think obviously Wirral and Kashirski in particular going to get the plaudits for the goals. But the man at the back, Rolik, was just immense.
He was superb. Yeah.
I mean, it's like time and time again, it's like Panthers attacks broke down, and it was down to that man. I mean, he's a big guy, yeah, but he was sacrificing his body, he was throwing his stick everywhere. It was a fantastic performance by him. And you can't discredit the goalkeeper as well. I know he was protected very well, and we didn't really test him much, but I mean, he stood up to everything we had to throw at him.
It's game 2 of a Scottish road trip. Tonight we're in the fantastic Fife Arena. The crowd's bound to play a part. Will Panthers be on their A game? I'm with a couple of Fife fans. I've got Andrew Burrell, more commonly known as Colorado Flyer on Twitter, and of course I'm with Laura Duff, the Cats Whiskers TV fan of the year last year. Was that an honour?
Yeah, I suppose so. I didn't expect it, obviously, but things on the Twitter world have sort of went up in my expectations recently. A bit more people following, so yeah, it's good.
I will ask you, because obviously I used to do live updates myself. Yeah. Do you find it difficult to follow the game while you're doing it?
When I first started doing it, so it was Flyers' first year in the Elite League, and it was a couple of Nottingham fans had asked me to, update on the game. It was difficult, but after a few games, no. I actually can sort of tweet and not miss anything important at all. I've not missed a goal yet, so touch wood it doesn't happen this season.
Well, thank you, because I know your tweets and your updates are appreciated by a lot of fans back in Nottingham. So I'll move on to Andrew. Andrew, Fife, big season for Fife this season.
Yeah, it is. It's a big season, third season in the league. We'll see how we get on this tonight as well. But for the whole season, I'd like to see if we can maybe finish maybe at least 1 or 2 places higher than last year, and definitely make the playoffs and maybe get a better draw and see if we can get to the final this weekend. That would be great for us, I think.
What would you class as a really successful season? Do you think the conference is a possibility?
At the moment, Dundee are probably the strongest team in the conference at the moment, but a couple of months' time when we've got the guys in for a bit gelled, and I think we could win it. But only a point away from it last year, and I think we could have actually won it last year, and I think this year maybe we should be looking to win it this year.
Thank you. Laura, I'll ask you the same question. So what would you class as successful?
Yeah, like obviously making the playoffs is a big thing to start off with, but at the same time, all these Northern Conference teams, we all should be capable of battling each other out every night and challenging the teams in the other conference. So for me personally, I would say that our aim is to win the conference. You know, if you win that conference, you're getting a better seeded place for the playoffs. You're giving yourself a better chance of making the Final Four weekend. So, you know, you're 2 weeks into the season. Yeah, Dundee are looking hot. Dundee are looking good. They're looking by far the best team, but there's a lot of weeks to go. You know, you've got injuries to come up, you've got shock results to come up, you've got different refereeing decisions, you know, everything's going to come into play. Maybe later on by Christmas we'll have more of an idea how things are going to pan out, but it's a long way to go yet.
Well, thanks for your time, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you. So, a controversial penalties victory for Nottingham Panthers tonight. Ant joins me again. Not the way we wanted to end, was it?
2 points is 2 points, but you got to feel for them. I really don't know I'm speechless. I've never seen a game end like that ever. And to be fair to him, Cowan was doggo all night.
Absolutely. He was shocking for both sides. I mean, he just bottled so many big decisions and
too many. I mean, Fife were lucky to get away with high sticking towards the end. We were lucky to get away with a too many men call about halfway through the third. I think it was their second goal to put them 2-1 up. We could have had 2 tripping penalties that he was given for softer things. It's like unbelievable. Speechless. I can't say anything more really.
To move on to the game itself. What a game of hockey, and I think a great comeback from Panthers after last night. Some real grit, determination, spirit, especially with losing Henley to a bit of a daft penalty, to say the least, and then Eric Werner, which looks like a very serious injury.
Well, fingers crossed the news is better than what we're hearing at the moment with Werner, but yeah, Henley, it's a daft thing to do, but Fulton was at it all night. He was fantastic for them. I mean, going forward on the puck, he was defending well, and he was getting in the dirty areas and causing us all sorts of problems, and we didn't like it at all. We took exception to him. We were silly. I'm sorry, it's a little bit hard to celebrate a win like that, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, the puck was over the line, goal light went on, but the referee gives it and then washes it out. I mean, it's not the way you want to win a game.
The way I saw it was K-Wall made the save, but then the puck bobbles free, and then because K-Wall slid across, he's nicked his net, so the net's gone off, and then the puck's gone in. I don't know. I mean, it was the same with our fourth goal. Let's just say that was on the controversial side, but yeah, I mean, going back to the game itself, we came out fantastic. Fires came out fantastic. It was end to end for so long. It's like hits were flying in from both teams. I think we basically picked up where we started in the third period yesterday. So unfortunately, it took us to the third period to start actually put some pressure on, but. Wow.
There we go.
Not a lot more you can say, really.
So it's game 3 of the road trip, and tonight we're in Edinburgh. We're in the corridor of the Murrayfield rink because it's a little bit loud out there with the music, and you probably wouldn't be able to hear us. Ant joins me again before the game. Reason being, there's just a couple of things to clear up from last night's game that obviously we weren't able to cover. First of all, Eric Werner, it's confirmed it's a broken leg. That's bad news for us.
It's massive news. I mean, I think the 6 to 8 weeks that they've got on the website is a return date. It's a little bit optimistic for me. I mean, I know Dutiem has done his knee, and that's slightly different. But you see how long he's been out for. And Werner's only just returned to the team, so he's still finding his feet anyway. That's going to put him back even further. We've got to be bringing somebody else in. I know the website have mentioned it, but let's fingers crossed we do.
Yeah. So I would expect to see a new import sooner rather than later.
You're going to be struggling to replace someone with Werner's ability, though. I mean, the guy, he was my personal player of the year last year. Absolute amazing defenseman, and his organisational skills alone is going to be a big miss.
And of course, Brett Henley, the punch he did on Fulton of Fife has been upgraded to a match penalty. He misses tonight's game, which weakens the defence even more. Your thoughts on that?
It was a silly thing to do. I mean, I know there's various clips going around of the incident and what have you, but that doesn't show the whole picture. I mean, it's very good marketing, very good PR by the Fife Flyers, if anything. And I know the Elite League officials would have probably seen the whole tape, so they would have seen what led up to it and everything. But I mean, especially coming just after Werner took the shot to the leg as well. It was a bit of a daft thing to do. And I mean, full credit to Fulton, he played the agitator role to perfection last night. But yeah, he's going to be a miss again, and I mean, I know Benny can fill in on D again, so we'll see how that pans out again tonight.
Friday night, disappointing. Took us a while to get going. When we did turn it on, Dundee seemed to have an answer for us. Last night, less said the better about the officiating, but it's an entertaining game. The incident to the end, I'm sure it'll get talked about a lot, and I personally thought Fife were robbed, personally. And tonight was, lots of tired legs, but we got the job done in the end. And Edinburgh didn't really have much to offer, and we just did the job.
Not a bad weekend. I'll take 4 points out of 6. I think it's just a shame that I think the overriding thing of the weekend is going to be the result in Fife, unfortunately. Third period tonight, the guys started to look really, really tired, but you've got to be really happy with 4 from 6, to be fair. Coming up against a team at Dundee who seem really, really organised at the back. All night, their defence, they just seemed to get sticks in the way. And there was always a stick there, so it seemed to be, for me, that they're going to be a really organised team and certainly one to watch this year. Like I say, Saturday night was actually a really good game, and I thought it was going to be really close, but unfortunately it's going to be overshadowed by the penalty shot incidents. I think a lot of us have seen the video now, and the puck like it was in, but we don't know what the referee decided. And then on to tonight, we picked up a win in the end, and that we did the job, got up goals early, and did the job and got the points. And I think that's all you've got to be happy with for the weekend.
Right, you ready? We're ready. So there you go, a bit of a recap of the weekend for the Panthers. You all right, mate?
Yeah. It's a long run from Scotland. God's still up there.
Is it?
I had to make it back.
That'll teach you for buying an orange car.
Yeah. Wow. Move on.
Moving on. You all right, mate?
I'm fine. I've only come from work.
Fair enough. So 3 games for the Panthers this weekend. Bit of a mixed bag, shall we say. Let's obviously start off with Dundee Friday night. Now, last week's show, we said it could be a difficult game. Obviously, it ended up a very difficult game, shall we say.
Full credit to the Stars. I mean, as Ant and myself said on the video there, they were fully worthy of that win. And the thing is, they were very, very organised, very, very good defensively. Every time that we looked like we was going to threaten, there was a body in the way, there was a player in the way, there was a stick in the way. Very, very good side. clinical with their goal scoring. They didn't have that many clear-cut chances, but the ones they did have, they took brilliantly. You know, they're a good side, and on that showing from what I saw on Friday, it's no surprise that they're 4 out of 4 this season. No surprise at all.
Yeah, I mean, from a Panthers point of view, you know, we know as a club that we're not going to go up there and take them lightly, but it just shows you that if you don't start the game well and you know, after the first period it was 2-0, you know, it's going to be tough, isn't it, this season?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't get off to a start, you know, best starts like we didn't, you're always going to be chasing the game, and that makes it harder. But you know, fair play to Dundee. You know, they've gone out there. We spoke, I think it was either in the first show or the pre-season one, about teams gelling and the teams that gel early, and it looks like they have. It looks like they're a team that playing together. I mean, we've got a tweet in from Gare Anderson. I hope I pronounced that right, because Anderson's a difficult name to say. He's saying, you know, the D and the netminder are solid, but it's the pace and the ability to take the chances on the break that's doing it for them, and you know, and it looks like they are.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously the second period where you'd want Panthers to maybe come out and try and claw themselves back into the game, you know, Dundee shut us out in that period, which again put more pressure onto the third, and it just wasn't to be. And I think, you know, their home form this season for Dundee, it's going to be key for them, isn't it?
It was, and the fans got right behind them throughout the whole game. But also it was impressive the way that when in the third period when we scored, I think within a minute they scored. They bounced straight back and they kept that cushion. And I was very, very impressed with them. And I think if they carry on in that vein, there's a very, very good chance that they could be up there at the end of the season. They'll be in the mix if they carry on like that. Obviously, you know, you never know what will happen with injuries, suspensions as the season goes on. We're only 2 weeks in, but it's a very promising start for Dundee.
Well, you couldn't ask for anything more, could you? And what, you know, we'll talk about other results later on in the show, but a winning every week, which they've done for the last couple, just breeds confidence, doesn't it? Really,
it does. They're going to build on this. They've got a big weekend coming up, 3 games. You know, first one out of Scotland as well, and I think that is going to be the test for them as well. You know, they've had 3. I think it's 3 out of 4 of their games have been at home.
Yeah.
So you know, but I just see, you know, if they go on the road, how they fare there, but. You can't ask for better than they've done so far.
No, you certainly can. I mean, obviously, Fife was next, and I think it's best if we leave that one for a couple of minutes, shall we say? Let it die down. Let it die down. If you don't know what happened in Fife, then where have you been really for the last couple of days? But
it was in the video.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that if they hadn't.
Well, we know where they've been for the last quarter of an hour. They're not watching us.
Very true. Very true. So Edinburgh. Last game of 3 games, tiredness, you know, obviously the loss on Friday night would have put more emphasis on the 2 games that we had left, but I mean, it wasn't a fantastic game, there was nothing spectacular out of the game, but it was a 2-point, you know, haul that we needed to get.
And that's what you need, you know, that at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you win by 1 goal or 10, you only get 2 points, you know, all right. Sheffield fans are probably sitting there going, but we won 10-3. So what? Do you get any more points for winning 10-3? But yeah, by 7 than you do by 2. No. But anyway, what happened to the code? Move on.
Moving on. Jono, obviously you were there. Like I say, nothing spectacular out of the game, but it was good to see that the Panthers, from the weekend events, you know, Friday night and the Fife game, which we'll talk about shortly, that they got the result and they got the points.
Absolutely, because I mean, by the third game in 3 nights, tiredness is kicking in, and obviously by that time we were short on bodies, which we will come on to. Yeah. Third period, they looked a bit dead on their feet, Panthers, to be fair. And to be fair to the Caps as well, you've got to give them credit, because after a 10-3 shellacking the night before, they came and they really came at us, and they made a game of it, and it was. In the end, it was quite a close game. one thing I have noticed from all three Scottish teams this season, and other teams, I said there's a lot of speed in the league this year. There's some very, very quick players. The transition between defence and attack is very fast, and all three Scottish teams display that, and that's something that other teams will have to watch out for.
Which, to be fair, I mean, before the season began, there was a lot of talk of, how much muscle was being brought into the Elite League this season. Like your Spencer, obviously in Sheffield. Look at Panthers, who we've got. Then pretty much every team has got somebody in there that is going to mix it up. So maybe the speed that Jono's just mentioned has been not really been talked about.
I don't think it has, but I think that's always going to be something that happens because there's a lot of people out there who like the tough side. But and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's the usually smaller, the speedy players that don't get the attention.
Yeah,
I think. But I mean, what I wanted to ask you, Jono, because obviously you were there. How did Sari do?
He didn't get a lot of ice time. He tended to get a lot of ice time in the first, less in the second, very little in the third, if any. He's quick, decent hands, but could he change a game on his own? From what I saw this weekend, I don't think so. He's a body. Will he fit in? I don't know. I mean, it's obviously early days. He's come in and played 3 games. So.
Yeah. Do you think that the reducing ice time over the course of the game is because he's not necessarily going to fit in Nielsen's plans? And when games were, because it was 3 tight games. So he's sort of shortening the bench for the people he knows are going to be there in the long run.
Well, obviously you're going to have to ask Corey Nielsen that because he won't tell us because he doesn't like being interviewed. Bless him. But I don't know. I mean,
we'll wait and see.
I think the thing is that obviously tiredness was taking a toll last night, and I thought he might get a few more shifts in the third period just to give those other guys a break. But I do want to pay particular credit to Brandon Benedict, who slotted in on D and was superb, and also Stevie Lee, who really rose up and took the mantle this weekend. He was outstanding all weekend.
Well, I mean, just very quickly on that, because let's get to the Fife game. But just we've talked in previous shows about obviously Lachowicz and how this might be a year for him. There's also a bit of pressure on Stevie Lee as well. This year for him to finally move up those couple of levels that we know he's got, and maybe it might be the season for him as well.
I think that pressure's been there since Danny Myers. Was left or was removed. That. I mean, obviously we brought Weaver in. He's going to be the senior Brit defenseman, but Steve, he's getting older. He's got to make those steps up, and I think as well, to a lesser degree, Tom Norton. Norton, he's coming. He's getting a regular ice time, and
he is getting a regular shift.
Yeah,
as well.
and that's good because you're not going to learn any other way, and he's still at that stage where he is learning, but he's also got to make that step up. And so far, from what I've seen, he's getting there.
He was very good. He was very good this weekend as well, Norton, and was getting some work on special teams as well, penalty kill, especially. Very good, very impressive.
Yeah, good to see. Right, Fife game. Where should we start? Where do you start?
What happened?
Not a lot, really, to be honest. Not a lot, actually. Just a quiet game. Nothing really happened. Everybody's happy. Went home and had a drink. But right, let's do first period then. Henley. Obviously, Fulton's played that game, very, very well.
Absolutely.
Henley's he's a big bloke, so fair play for him for doing that.
Well, but let's go back a little bit. Just before this incident, Eric Werner goes off, obviously very badly injured. Turns out it's a broken leg. Now,
that was my next point that we were going to talk about.
Sorry,
go on.
But I think it relates to this point. So we're now down to 2 in Port D in Henley and Murray. So obviously Fulton was throwing his weight about. He was being an agitator, and yes, he deserved a slap. I'm not going to. He was.
I think it was a bit more than a slap. But
he wasn't calling him an agitator in the texts I got on Friday.
But he played his agitator role to perfection. But as an agitator, you're going to take a slap once in a while, and he took a bit of a slap. Sucker punch, not a chance. He was. I mean, people calling it a sucker punch. Come on, please. You know, it was a stupid thing to do. It was cheap, definitely. It was a cheap thing to do. It was a stupid thing to do considering the position we was in with Werner, and it could have cost us dearly. Thankfully, it didn't in the end.
No,
but you know,
you could say it nearly did.
It nearly did.
You know.
Well, it could quite easily have done.
Yeah.
However, you know, you can't have agitators going around and doing what they like. And Fulton Nadori had been called for the penalty. And I think there's footage on Fife's website that we've seen which shows the incident, but doesn't show what led up to it, which was Fulton getting an elbows penalty, which is why Henley reacted in the way he did. Stupid thing to do, but you know, it happens. Spur of the moment.
On that, obviously you got 5+ game, and then it turned out, you know, they reviewed it and it got done to a match. Now everybody's going to be talking about, you know, previous people and the bans that they've received, and again it's talked about how this is where the Elite League lets themselves down with, you know, just the inconsistency, shall we say, of reviewing disciplinary actions. So I mean, what would you say, is the match fair, or should it be more?
I think given what had already been handed out before, then it was always likely he was going to get a ban. Given what's been handed out before, I was surprised it was only one.
Yeah.
And maybe Maury Hansen's dishing out the bans the way he reffed games, where he let a lot go.
Yeah.
And that, but you know, I mean, I think one game's probably fair enough. Was it a sucker punch?
No.
Well, it all depends how you. I mean, there's been a lot of debate about what is a sucker punch. I'd argue that a punch that comes toward, a punch that comes towards you, you can see it. Although
it's not a sucker punch.
It's not a sucker punch. Although Fulton does look a bit vague before Henley hits him, which is a bit odd.
It looks even more vague afterwards.
You know, but I mean, some of the stuff that's been bandied about, and I have to say, not by Fife fans in the main.
No.
A lot of people jumping on bandwagons. It's because it's Nottingham.
Yeah.
We want to get the usual things out. We're buying the league so we won't get a ban. All that sort of stuff.
It's
hashtag change the ref.
It's all the norm, isn't it? I mean, just quickly, you know, because there's still a lot to talk about. But obviously, like you mentioned, Eric Werner, broken leg. It's reported 6 to 8 weeks, possibly. I mean, I think that's very optimistic, personally. I mean, what a massive loss that is, and you know, you look to a replacement possibly, but you know, season's already started. You know, who are you going to get?
It's going to have to be replacements.
Yeah.
I think we need two. We need somebody in as soon as possible, and that, you know, somebody who doesn't necessarily fit Werner's playing style. Just so we've got another body. I mean, we've got a pretty big game on Saturday. You know, and then you need longer term, because I mean 6 to 8 weeks for a broken leg is very optimistic. You know, so you then look in somebody who fits Werner's role more. For in the long term. So, you know,
it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see, you know, who Corey and obviously, you know, Gary and Strax look to try and you know, get and see who's out there.
Well, you know, I heard Sarich, which sent shivers down my spine. You know, just no, please, no. I would rather Corey suit back up again than get Rod Sarich in.
Well, I mean, just on, you know, maybe you joke about that, but I mean,
I'd rather Strachan suited up again. And I've seen him play.
Wow, there you go. I mean, first of all, let's say to Eric, you know, we wish him all the best and a speedy recovery. And I think from the Panthers' point of view, that isn't going to be the last we see.
Something else I want to mention about that is I was having a quick look around the forums on Sunday morning, and it was great to see so many fans of other teams and tweets as well that I got wishing him well. There's a thread on Steel Talk, the Sheffield forum, all wishing him well, which you know, classy.
Well, I think at the end of it, we all have a banter against each team, but when something like this happens and it's to a nice guy like Werner, the real side of fans, are shown when they wish people a speedy recovery. But let's get to the main sticking point of a certain penalty.
Oh, is that the top?
A certain penalty shot.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, let's talk about Cow and the referee. Just very briefly, he didn't have a good game. He's not had good games previously. Even not including the Panthers. In general, there was controversy last season, obviously. Now it's happened again. I mean, the footage that you can see. I mean, it's on YouTube if you want to go and have a look at it. It's on Five Flyers YouTube channel. I mean, it's pretty convincing that the puck is across the line, and that's not only is it you can say the points, but for a team it's so demoralising and it can affect the next few games for Fife if they let it. I mean, I'm sure they're not going to, but big call, and he got it wrong.
He got it completely wrong. I was standing pretty much at the back of the rink, halfway line. I could see it was in from where I was, and you can argue the net was off. Kowalski's momentum took him that way, but that's not the shooter's fault.
No, yeah.
It was in, and the thing is, he actually pointed, he gave it, the goal light came on, and then waved it off, and rightly so. The Flyers players and the Flyers fans were livid, and I tried to think, right, if it was us in that situation, I'd be livid too. I mean, they were incensed, and rightly so. It was a terrible call. They at the very least, it should have been taken again. At the very least, or it should have been given. That would have taken it into sudden death. It goes either way. Then it was a hollow victory. And it felt like a hollow victory. There was not a lot of celebration from the Panthers fans, and I think you can see in Ant's reaction from the video. It's just not the way you want to win a game. And, I really felt for them. But having said that, and again, to pay credit to the Fife fans, they were rightly incensed and riled up. Not one of them took it out on any of the Panthers fans that was in there. And I say, I did my bit with Ant. I walked around the rink. I got stopped individually by about 3 or 4 Flyers fans for a chat. And we were talking about it, and not one of them was blaming the Panthers. They were blaming the ref. And they're a knowledgeable fan base. They're a good fan base. That they could be as incensed. They could be as incensed by something like that. Oh, stop it, you pair. They could be incensed by. Can you let me finish? Carry on. So they're incensed, but they still have the class to talk to you and realise it's not your fault. And I think the other way round, would we be as gracious? I don't mean us personally. I mean the fan base as a whole. So there you go.
Well, I don't know what else there is to say about that, but go on.
There's one thing. Just we had a tweet about that from Random Pesh. Is that right again? Yeah. That Cowan's trying to kill the special relationship that Fife and Panthers fans have. And it's no fault to Panthers at all. And he's right. I mean, the first trophy I ever saw Panthers win was against Fife years ago. Literally, But it's good that you're in a. If it had been Panthers Sheffield, people have been so gracious, So it's fair. It's fair. I mean, I was looking on Flyers page on Facebook, and I think after about there was 80 odd posts, and there were 2 of them blaming, saying it was Kowalski's fault. 2 out of 80, that's nothing, is it? It's 1.5%. So fair play to him, and long may things like that continue.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just very quickly, obviously, a massive error there, and a massive talking point that has been, over all the social media. And but where did the elite league go now when a referee is making these kind of errors? Can you say regularly, but more times than they shouldn't be? I mean,
how long we got.
I'm certainly not going to give you the microphone, put it that way. But I mean, the Elite League's got to look at it though, haven't they? And you know, you've got Hansen there now that's come back into the frame. At the end of the day, these people are human. They are going to make errors, but they need some way of reducing. That bloke's just won a jackpot there.
I spoke.
You want the word?
I spoke to Laura Duff, and she was in Edinburgh last week, and she said Maury Hansen was actually there. Cowan refereed the game, and she said it's the best game she's seen Cowan referee when they won 2-1 in Edinburgh because Maury Hansen was there watching him.
Yeah.
And she says, and then he comes back there, and he was terrible. And you know, how can? It's almost as if, I'm being watched, I better behave myself, and they think, I'm not being watched.
Well, I mean, we'll see. I'll see. You know what happens.
But the phrase, I think you got the phrase spot on. Where do we go? You know, who's out there? You know, I've seen people call in for a 4-referee system. Where does the 4th referee come from?
Yeah, there's not.
You know, the idea is that we're the top. You know, the EIHL is the top league in Britain, so we've got the best officials. So the ones we've been bringing up, I mean, yes, we've got to keep moving them through because the ones we've got now will retire, and we need more of them. But where from? It's all about investment, and we really haven't got enough space tonight for that.
No, very true. Well, let's wrap it up then. Obviously, everybody wanted 6 points. I think we've got to be happy with 4 with the kind of form that Dundee are showing. Obviously, the controversy that surrounds Fife, yes, that could have gone either way, but then to bounce back for Edinburgh, there's going to be a lot of teams that go up there to Scotland and, come away empty-handed. So 4 out of 6 isn't that bad, I don't think, looking back on it.
Not at all.
So not a bad weekend, really, and let's hope we get a few more points when we go back up there, though.
I'm Jonathan Vauxhall, you're watching Panthers TV.
Okay, so let's look back at the weekend, shall we say briefly?
We'll try.
After that.
Otherwise, this won't be out till Friday.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Let's start. Giants Blaze. Obviously, Giants had a good start to the season, which we've mentioned. Blaze a little bit indifferent, but I mean, 5-0. That's a good solid win from the Blaze.
If you're looking for a shock this weekend, that's the one.
Yeah.
Who saw that coming? I mean, we had a tweet in from Andrew Enticots. He said, shocked? Yeah, absolutely. Concerned? No, just one of them nights. Yeah. We all have them. Look at last season. We went to Sheffield, lost 9-4. 9-4, yeah. That turned out all right in the end. So,
It certainly did.
And it's as we record this, it's September the 16th. Long way to go yet.
Certainly is, and I think we all know that, this conference is going to be tight, and there's going to be games that are going to be thrown up like that as well, aren't there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've got a tweet in from Rubber Pucky. Nice name. He says individual errors cost the Giants. Didn't show up for the 3rd period. Zacharias glove work sensational all game. So it sounds like the Blaze netminder played the blinder as well.
Right. Okay. Let's move on to Devils Clan. Tight game, that one. Two teams that have bit of indifferent form early on. I mean, Clan obviously looking for the first win, but Finity's going to be happy that it's a tough place to go, Cardiff as well, and to get the points, it'll do them a world of good.
Let's be honest, with their start, you probably wouldn't have expected Clan to come away with 2 points from that game, so that's a cracking result for them. Absolutely brilliant. And I think Andy Stevenson here, he says, excellent win in Cardiff. Kyle Jones looks a good netty, and the team's showing signs of starting to gel. And I think Paul alluded to it earlier. Teams starting to gel, and if Clan do start to gel, then the rest of the league ought to be worried.
I mean, I think Clan fan Doug, he's talked about how they've just not quite clicked. Yeah. But I mean, obviously, they've had the indifferent start, but that can also gel a team to go into a place like Cardiff and go, backs to the wall sort of thing, and go, nobody's expecting us to really get the points here. Just let's go out, play our hockey, and let's get out here and get the 2 points.
I mean, they had something to prove, didn't they?
Yeah.
After, and they've gone in there and done that, and a good, coming away with a good tight game like that, it's going to do them good.
Yeah.
So interesting to see where they go from here, if they can move forward from it.
Yeah, very true, very true. Well, obviously we mentioned the Blaze first of all. Then on the Sunday they go to home to Fife. Maybe just a bit of a late face-off, shall we say? But again, another good, solid win from the Blaze. A great weekend for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I would have thought the journey probably affected Fife in that game, and also I don't think it would have been helped with Reagan, the netminder, getting chucked out for a high-sticking incident. Haven't seen it, so can't really comment on it. I think not a great weekend all round for Fife. But yeah, Blaze, after 2 defeats, I think it was last weekend, come back with 2 wins. So it's a topsy-turvy start this season. It really is.
And was it Jono got was it four goals? Yeah, 4 goals. So let's get the one-man team comments out.
I think Tomo tweeted saying, not a bad player that one, is he? So no, you did well there.
He'll be atrocious before the end of the season.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the big sort of disappointment of the weekend has got to be, if you're a Hull fan, 3-0 up, and there's a song, isn't there? But we're not going to sing it. I don't look like that. There is. 3-0 up and end up losing 4-3. Against Devils netmind, backup netmind Joe Myers in because.
I think Myers deserves a lot of credit there because he sounds like he let 3 in the first period and then was obviously rock solid for the rest of the game. And the guy's obviously got character to come back from that.
Yeah, I mean, Challenge Cup game that one was obviously as well. So. But we'll see. I mean, Cardiff, obviously, I think they needed that for a morale boost, personally. But let's get on to Dundee. We started with that, obviously, when we talked about the Panthers. Fantastic result for them on the Friday night. Now, Steelers.
Standard result.
Saturday night, they had a. Let's be fair, they had a good win. Like Paul said earlier on, 10 against 3. Doesn't count anymore for how goals you score, but it's all about confidence and, getting the play going. But doesn't that just show you what the Stars have got in their locker this season so far? I know it's another home game, but
look at their wins.
Talk about that's
Braehead, Coventry, Nottingham, Sheffield, 4 wins. Yeah. Now, I doubt even the most optimistic Stars fan would have expected to come away from that with 4 wins. And I wish I'd have put a tenner on it, quite frankly, because I'd be quids in now. But fair play to him. My other half sent in the tweet. I don't know why she couldn't have just told me in the car. She said, having seen both games, I would say Bakala has stood out, their netminder. He was on fire both games. Can't remember seeing any smoke on Friday night. but no, in all seriousness, Friday night he was very good. Very good at his angles. Very good glove hand, and it seems he was the same last night as well.
I mean, for Steelers, obviously, there was a few tweets from a few fans after Panthers' result on Friday night, and I believe what the pie, some sort of pie you have to eat or something.
There is.
Yeah.
What's the word?
I don't know.
Sounds like Bumble.
Yeah. Crumble
pie.
That's the one.
That's the one. Yeah. But in all seriousness, I mean, is there any? There's going to be. I can see, your Coventry's like you've just mentioned, but your Cardiff's going there, Belfast there. It's tough. It's going to be tough, isn't it?
They're going to be up there, one way or the other. I think they'll be in the mix at the end of the season. But it's a long season. It depends how it pans out for them.
Yeah.
Maybe they're seeing, they're rolling on a bit of confidence. See what happens if they lose it, but. We'll see. Yeah. I think that's all we can say.
Well, I think obviously, Big Doug will be looking for a reaction, which we'll talk about quite shortly when we look forward to the next games. But first of all, there was a meet and greet with the players last Wednesday. So let's have a look at the footage.
I've liked it here right from the beginning. Everyone's been great. All the teammates have been great. Help you get settled in, and you feel more comfortable now that you know your way around and get into a schedule. So it's been great so far.
How are you finding driving on the left?
Yeah, that's been interesting. Really, it's even today coming here. I pulled down the street. It wasn't for very long, but I pulled down the right side of the street, so it's, you really got to pay attention for the first little while, but I feel way comfortable about it, way more comfortable now. But
coming out from North America, has it surprised you how big the crowds have been over here and the amount of people who turn out for sort of events like this?
Well, I don't know that it was a surprise because, I had heard about Nottingham before, and that there's such great fan support and that everyone in Nottingham loved hockey. So, it wasn't a surprise to me, but yeah, I'm real excited that there is this much fan support here, and it'll be an exciting year, I think.
Quick final word about the weekend. Really great start to the season.
Yeah, it's been, you can't go wrong with 2 wins. I think that as a team we can be a lot better even, but I think we have a really good team. I know a lot of the guys are new, but I know a lot of the new guys, and I know what they're capable of, so I think we've got a good team.
Matt, good start to the season.
Yeah, great start. The boys have come in here and they've done a great job so far, and hopefully it continues.
How happy were you to get the A for the team?
Oh, it's a great honor. It shows, respect from the team and coaches, and I'm glad they've got that faith in me, and I'm happy to help lead the guys.
How's the camaraderie in the team at the minute?
I think, as you can tell, we're gelling pretty well. Guys are getting along great. It's a great atmosphere to be around, and makes it easy to come to work every day for sure.
Yeah, great start. Big win in Sheffield, so good to get out of the way early. So now we're just gonna keep going from there.
Yeah, it's been fun. Everyone's trying to get to know each other a little bit better each day of practice and during games. So it's been a pretty good start, and we're happy with the way the season's going so far.
How are you finding driving on the left?
I actually haven't gotten in the car yet. I got myself a bike around town. I live right downtown in the city, 5-minute walk from the arena. So it's been pretty easy on me so far, which is nice.
Eric, you obviously didn't get in till last week. Has it been difficult to sort of get up to pace, or just straight back in it like a duck to water?
No, it's a little difficult. I came in, only had a couple days of practice and read in a couple games. I felt a little off, my condition-wise. So I just need a good hard week of practice and a couple games to get back to where I was. So I was a little off the past weekend though.
Yeah, it's been good. Last weekend, 2 big wins. The trip away to Holland was a good experience for everyone. Obviously playing against a great competition over there, and obviously we didn't get the results we wanted. But when you're playing against competition with, teams like Geneva and the DEL teams whose budgets are, out of this world, and you're playing against guys that have serious numbers in the NHL, it was a good experience for us as a team. And I think playing against that speed, and doing quite well was shown against Hull. Obviously our speed really sort of took over from part of the game, so I think that was really, paid dividends for the trip.
You've come from the American collegiate system. This is your first season as a pro. Are there many differences, or is it pretty much the same?
Well, the biggest thing I would say is the speed is pretty similar. Obviously, the biggest thing I've noticed is, as simple as this, guys are a lot smarter. They don't make the same mistakes that you have at college, and you don't have as much time on the puck. So when you do have the puck and when you're in the defensive zone, you have to utilize the opportunities you do have. So, everyone's done. One thing I will say is everyone's done a very good job of making me feel comfortable and giving me an opportunity to adapt to the surroundings and the play and everything, even small stuff, even the way being professional every day. So it's I'm really enjoying as far, and as you can see tonight, the fans are there was nothing like this at college. So I really am enjoying it so far, and even coming out to the Amiens game and thousands of people there for a pre-season game was amazing. And I'm next weekend when we play Sheffield's obviously going to be something great to experience. I'm looking forward to it.
Now, as I'm sure you're all aware, the nights are getting dark, it's getting a little bit chillier out there, so what do you want to go and do? You want to go and shave your head, of course you do. Well, obviously that's what Rob Lachowicz did in the past week. Jono was down there, he got a few interviews, and we actually got him, well, what do you want to call it? Mid-head shave?
Mid-cut.
Mid-cut. It's not a good look.
Panthers forward Robert Lachowicz had his hair shaved off to raise money for the British Heart Foundation at a recent Meet the Players event. Panthers assistant coach Rick Strachan, who had made a bet with Lachowicz to get his haircut, was the first on the clippers, before an auction was won by youngster Charlotte Fessy, who completed the job. We managed to get a quick word with Rob mid-cut.
Right, I'm glad to say this time I've been joined by Krusty the Clown by the looks of it. Rob, how's it feel?
The middle feels really short at the minute. I've seen a few pictures, it doesn't look too bad. I might just keep it like this, I think.
Well, you can still have it poking out your helmet, you see.
Yeah, that's all that matters, as long as it looks good in a hat and a helmet.
Well, I think we'll let you go and get it finished and we'll talk to you after.
Sure.
Panthers defenceman Tom Norton had set up the event in memory of his late father. We managed to grab a quick word with him afterwards, along with Panthers assistant coach Rick Strachan and a now safely shorn Rob Lachowicz.
So, Tom, you must be absolutely delighted with the amount that's been raised so far.
Yeah, no, really, really pleased. I mean, big thank you to everyone who's donated and obviously retweeted and liked stuff on Facebook. I mean, it's helped get it out there and raise the awareness of the British Heart Foundation, which is massive, really. So, no, big thank you to everyone who's donated and raised the awareness.
And, I mean, Rob's really sacrificed himself for this because he's had that throw for a long time.
Well, I mean, it made the bet with Strax a while ago anyway, so, you know, I suppose he's had to step up to the plate and do it, but it's just nice that he's obviously done it for a good cause and done it for, obviously, my dad and the British Heart Foundation, which is massive, really. You know, really appreciate him doing it for me.
Rick, you finally got him.
Yeah, it was a long time coming, but he finally succeeded to my bugging him every day, and he's doing it for a good cause.
Yeah. So, with the new buzz cut hairstyle, do you think he'll be dropping the gloves this weekend in Scotland?
No, we don't want Lacho to fight. Hey, there's other guys to do that. Lax, he's still going to get the chicks. Look at him. He's still a good-looking kid with no hair.
So, how long really has it taken you to get this far for him to actually get his head shaved?
18 months.
18 months. So finally done it. You must be very pleased now.
Well, he's finally paid his debt, and it wasn't that tough. Look at him. He was worried about losing his hair, and he's lost it, and it'll grow back, and we're all happy.
Suits you?
Yeah, I've had more likes than dislikes from everyone in here so far, so I think I'm probably going to give it about a week, see how I feel with it, and then decide if I'm going to keep it short or grow it back.
Think the wig's going to come out at the weekend?
Maybe. I've still got it in the changing room, so especially if my helmet doesn't fit, I might be throwing the wig on underneath.
On the plus side, though, it's raised over $1,000 for British Heart Foundation so far, which is a fantastic amount of money.
Yeah, we've done really well. We've had it up online on justgiving.com for about 2 weeks, and got over £1,000 now. So the last few days, it's just shot up. So it's just a big thanks to everyone that's kind of helped us out there.
It's good look, that, I think. What do you think?
I think it suits him.
I know, yeah. Well, you're obviously a man with not much hair. What do you think?
I tried to nick some off the floor.
You could certainly do with some. But in all seriousness, if you would like to donate, the Just Giving page is on the screen now, somewhere along there.
One of us will.
Yeah, somewhere along there. But no, in all seriousness, it's a great cause. You know, fair play
British
to Lacho.
Yeah,
a lot of money's been raised already, but
$1,500.
yeah, a lot of money.
Let's get it up.
Yeah, exactly. The more the better. But shall we have a look ahead to the weekend?
I think we're better.
Yes. Let's
now,
get this finished.
where do you start? There's not that many big games this weekend, is there, to be honest? So let's start at the lowest game there. Panthers Steelers. Obviously, the return of the Challenge Cup that happened a couple of weeks ago. Mixed weekend for both teams. Doug's going to be in. The Steelers are wanting revenge, obviously. Panthers' first game against the Steelers at home. It's all the ingredients, shall we say, are there for a classic game, so it'll probably be a boring game.
It probably will, and it's only in the Challenge Cup, just give me excuses in early. I think events, losing Werner, massive. I think we'll struggle.
Yeah. Positivity there. Back to his old normal self. I quite enjoyed that. But no, I think to be fair, I think it's a good point well made about obviously Werner. I think it's going to be a very tough game, and I think it'll be very close. I can't see anybody running away with it, certainly. I mean, I don't know what your view is.
I think it depends if we get anyone in before the weekend who can cover that bit of ice time. But it's Challenge Cup, so yes, it would be great to win. But both games this weekend are Challenge Cup. Cardiff on Sunday is also Challenge Cup, so let's use it as an opportunity to maybe gel a bit more, maybe try something different in the lines, but also beat Sheffield if we can. I mean, let's face it, there's not much better than beating Sheffield as it was last week. So.
I mean, to be fair though, the Challenge Cup is something that the Panthers, is very much associated with the Panthers. So yes, there's opportunity there to say, well, if we do lose, it is in the Challenge Cup, but it's a cup that we want to retain, and you lose a game that can install a little bit of doubt in the players' minds and stuff like that. So it is a game that we want to win, obviously.
Exactly. I mean, we should want to retain all the cups. Yeah. But I mean, you're right. It might only be the Challenge Cup, but it's Sheffield. You always want to beat your closest rivals. So I fully expect us to go out there to win.
Yeah. First game against the Steelers at home as well, so I think that'll be massive. I think there's I saw today on Twitter about 100 or something seats left, so a few hundred. So you can still get your seats if you'd like to go. Next game that really stands out for me, Steelers Clan on the Sunday. Obviously, Finity's first game against his previous employers. He's going to want to put a performance up. Clan's just had a very good result against the Devils. Depending obviously what happens on the Saturday regarding the Steelers, then the travel up. That's going to be another good game, I would think.
You know what? I might actually take a trip up to watch that, because I think that could be tastier than a beef bourguignon.
Fair enough.
No,
that's tasty as well, to be honest, a beef bourguignon.
I enjoy a beef bourguignon.
Unless you're a vegetarian, of course. Tastier than a mushroom ratatouille, if you're a vegetarian. I think that could be a good game. I think there could be some fireworks in that one. Yeah. Knowing Mr. Finity.
I mean, obviously he's going into their barn, they like to call it. Shed, other people like to call it, but there you go. He's going to want to put one over on his previous employers, and if he does, that's a very happy Finity, I would have thought.
Well, I wouldn't be too disappointed either. But I mean, anything like that, you see it time and time again, don't you? The spurned player going back, spurned coach in this case. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, obviously, we've talked about Dundee a lot this programme, and let's be honest, they deserve the credit and the time that we're given to them.
Absolutely.
Obviously, like we've mentioned already, they start on the Friday night against the Giants. Paul's mentioned the fact that I think you said 3 of their 4 games have been at home, so it's a trip away to the Irish Isles. Very loosely, that is, I tell you, very loose. But that's going to be a tough game, I think. I mean, where would you put your money?
I put my money on the Emerald Isle, to be fair, but no, in all seriousness, Dundee went there last year as it was getting towards the end of the season and got a 5-2 victory, which was a great help to us at the time. But they have won there before, and they can win there. Again, Giants smarting from a 5-0 defeat. Difficult to call. I think overtime, and then I wouldn't like to call it.
I think AD will be looking for a reaction from the Giants after Saturday night. So I'd probably say they might edge it, but hey, who's going to bet against Dundee now?
No, very true. And obviously, just quickly, it's a 3-game weekend for the Stars, which, if you look, if they have a good weekend, then they've really made some ground at the top.
Yes.
Devils travel to the Stars, obviously, on the Saturday. We've talked about, the Panthers, the Steelers. It's not going to be an easy game for the Devils either, is it?
It could be another close one, but we know that the Stars are very, very confident playing at home, and as you said earlier, who bet against them winning that game? But that's taking nothing away from the Devils' good side. I think it depends on a lot could depend on the Devils' net-minded situation going into next weekend as well.
Yeah. And for the Stars, they wrap up obviously away to Edinburgh cap. So, you know, you don't know about that one. Maybe like we've talked about 3 games in a weekend. It's quite tough.
You'd expect it, but you know, I think is that they're called caps are in Hull on.
Yeah, on the Saturday.
On Saturday. So you know, I mean, both teams. There's a fair. I mean, caps are doing a fair bit of travelling, as well as the Devils at the weekend. So, and that always, you know, that always takes its toll. So we'll see, but I can't see anything other than a Stars victory there, I'm afraid.
No, I can't. I have to agree with you. And then just quickly, let's talk about the Blaze just very quickly in Hull. Obviously, you know, the Blaze on the Saturday away to Fife. That's going to be a tough game. You know, Fife are going to want some justice, I imagine, and they're definitely going to be a rival.
I really hope Rob Cowan isn't the referee for that one.
Well, I'm sure we'll wait and see for that one. I've got a funny feeling he won't be, but you never know. And then the Blaze at home to Hull. Hull are going to want a decent result this weekend as well, aren't they?
Yes, they are. I mean, they've got Sheffield midweek as well in the cup.
Challenge Cup, yeah.
So they're going to be looking for a result. They're going to be they're looking for a reaction from being 3-0 up and losing. Cloutier's going to want a reaction from them. So see if they get it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some tasty games this weekend, you know, and to be honest, it's been great for the Elite League so far. You know, it's been a good start. So obviously we will be back next week, but in the meantime, if you want to get in touch, obviously with this show, the Twitter address is on the screen now. Please do get in touch. Anything at all, what you'd like us to mention. Tell us about your team, who's playing well, who's not playing well. Just any views, we'd love to hear your views, and we'll talk about it on the show, won't we?
We will.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll be back next week, but go and enjoy some hockey over the weekend.